everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Wei. I am a second-year PhD student in kinesiology and public health education at the University of North Dakota. Although I'm not able to join the conference in person today, I'm very happy and grateful to still have the opportunities to present our work through this recorded video. And I'm look forward to answering any questions you might have later in the Zoom meetings. Okay. So today I will present my conceptual paper titled Bridging Sport Education and Social Emotional Learning through the Spectrum Teaching Styles. And first of all, I want to clarify how I define the social emotional learning, or what's our operational definitions. And based on Cassell, social emotional learning is a developmental process. It helps students understand themselves, manage emotions, build relationships, show empathy, and make decisions. In this study, I use Cassell's 5 competence as an operational definition, including self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skill, and reasonable decision-making. Another point is that social emotional learning is complicated. A developmental perspective on social emotional learning considers how social and emotional competences can be expressed and enhanced across age, from preschool through adulthood, which means it usually needs to be sequenced, active, focused, and explicit. So in our project, we're not assuming social emotional learning just happen naturally. We are more interested in how it can be intentionally supported. Another important part of this study is sport education, which is a pedagogical model proposed by Dr. Siedentop. Its goal is to help students become competent, literate, and enthusiastic sports person through more authentic sports experience. It has 6 key features, including seasons, team affiliation, formal and practice competition, record keeping, festivity, and community events. And actually, previous sport education research has connected to social and personal skill development. On the left side, it shows how it can support personal and skill development through stable team membership, responsibility, students' role, peer interaction, and fair play. Students have that opportunities to practice leadership, cooperation, decision making, and peer support. And more recent study on the right side show a shift in the literature. Researchers are moving from words, personal and social development, or personal and social skill, towards more explicit and intentional design social emotional learning outcome. For example, as Anne and Penny mentioned or emphasized here, as the sport education can be used to promote social emotional learning outcome, but it needs to be intentionally planned and examined in context. Erica found that students in social emotional learning and sport education model volleyball season improve in emotional intelligence, while students in traditional PE declined. Simonton, Wellhead, and Karen also show that students' emotional experience during hybrid SE model, during hybrid SE season, were related to cognitive and physical achievement. To summarize this page, although sport education offers rich opportunities for social interaction and emotional experience, stronger evidence is still needed to explain how social emotional learning can be explicitly fostered within SE, and also how different students experience those opportunities across time. And this is where and why I bring the spectrum teaching styles. The spectrum views teaching as a chain of decision making. Different styles distribute decision differently between the teacher and learners. So it creates a variety of opportunities for students' responsibilities, communication, reflection, and self-regulation. Another key point is that it's gradually transferred the decision-making from the teacher to the student. This also aligns well with social machine learning as a developmental process that requires repeated practice over time. Another reason for why spectrum is also based on sport education needs. Because sport education, it gives students meaningful role, especially the student coach. But the research shows that students need preparation and guidance to lead effective team practice. And the spectrum can provide structured pedagogical tools or instructional tools to scaffold those roles. And in our last project, we used the spectrum-based scaffolds to prepare those student coach to guide their team practice. And the result shows that when students had those instructional tools based on the spectrum during team practice, they moved beyond informal peer interaction and engaged with their peer teaching more purposefully. So in this project, the spectrum teaching style is conceptualized as a pedagogical bridge between the sport education and social emotional learning. While sport education provides a social structure for authentic peer interaction and students' role, the spectrum offers a decision-making framework for intentionally scaffolding how students practice their responsibilities, practice communication, self-regulation, and peer-supported learning during their team practice. And next, I want to share an example from how we integrate the spectrum into sport education to foster students' social emotional learning. It is a progression way. So across the three stage or 3 seasons, 2 styles remain the foundation, which is reciprocal and inclusion, and what changed across the stage is a level of student decision making. We added guided discovery in the 2nd stage and the divergent discovery in the 3rd stage. So the overall progression is from more teacher scaffolding towards more shared responsibilities and higher students' ownership, and also greater task openness. And the goal is our goal is not to assume that social emotional learning automatically happen in SE, but our goal is to use selected teaching styles as instructional scaffolds to create more explicit and developmental appropriate opportunities for social emotional learning practice during their team practice. So now I will guide you all deeper about how each season looks like. The first example is about the season 1. In this stage, we use reciprocal and inclusion style. Reciprocal style means students learn through peer observation, feedback, and role-based communication. We expect it can provide students structured opportunities for peer feedback, listening, and respectful communication. We use inclusion styles, means students choose an appropriate challenge level to support their successful participation. And we expect it can support self-awareness and self-management through choice of challenge level. So during team practice, the teacher will provide the task card and the criteria sheet. The student coach will use a task card to lead their team practice. As a learner, they're going to use a criteria sheet to observe their peers, give feedback, and choose a challenge level. So on the right side, you can see the coach. On the top, it's a student coach task card for volleyball bump. We provide the checklist to guide coach's behavior. Like you're going to help your team and teammates set the goal, help your teammates to select their task level, and the different color represent different level. And also, you can demonstrate skill and ask for help if needed. So basically, we use this task card to help student coach lead their team practice. And on the bottom, it is a criteria sheet for learner use. So as a learner, they're going to understand how to provide the feedback and also set the goal for themselves. It includes feedback focus, performance criteria, and feedback examples. So they can learn how to provide constructive feedback. So in this stage, the social machine learning opportunities here include giving and receiving feedback, self-monitoring, and respectful interaction. And in season 2, we keep reciprocal and inclusion, but add guided discovery. Guided discovery means students answer a sequence of teacher-guided, teacher-designed questions to discover one expected solution. And we expected to promote shared reasoning and responsible decision-making through those guided questions. And in this stage, during team practice, the teacher designed a handbook with a series of guided questions. And those questions are connected to the key skills or technical solutions. So the student coach, can use the handbook to lead the problem solving during their team practice. As a learner, they're going to answer the questions through practice. And they also continue peer feedback routine and level task choice. So on the right side, you can find those are the example for different parts. These are the guided question example for different parts. And actually, different teams can have different progression, because we will provide all the guided question within one handbook in advance. And the social machine learning opportunities here include listening, perspective taking, shared reasoning, and responsible decision making. This stage moves students from pure feedback towards guided team problem solving. In the third season, we added divergent discovery. It means students generate multiple possible solutions and decide what works best for them. This is different from guided discovery because it allows more than one possible answers. And we expected to encourage creativity, negotiation, and team ownership through those multiple solutions. So in this stage, during team practice, the teacher can design a handbook with open-ended prompts that encourage multiple practice solutions or technical strategies. And the coach can facilitate their team discussion and help teammates test the different solutions. As a learner, they have more ownership. They're going to generate, try, compare, and revise those solutions while continuing peer feedback routine and level task choice. So here, the social machine learning opportunities include negotiation, invitation, agency, self-regulation, and shared responsibilities. And at this stage, students have more ownership, but the process is still supported by the teacher and the handbook. So to conclude, this project proposed a progressive way to make the social machine learning more intentional in sport education. And this is more student-centered ways. So those are the references that inform this presentation. At the end, I would like to extend our thanks to the Spectrum Institute for teaching and learning for funding support. As a PhD student, I benefited a lot by implementing and initiating this project. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.